Hi everyone, Hold the Note Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Underscores album, Wallsocket. This is the second full-length LP from singer, songwriter, producer April Harper Gray, aka Underscores. I first caught wind of this project back in 2021 when some passionate fans were passing cuts my way from the debut record, debut Underscores record, Fishmonger, which I thought had a lot of admirable qualities, but also failed to stand out in the groundswell of homespun hyperpop and indie rock records dropping at the time. It's a wave that came and went pretty quickly, and the only artists who have been left standing are the ones that have proven to be not just like another 100 Gex clone, which I will say in April's defense was already the case for her, as she's been dropping music under the Underscores name since about the early or mid-2010s, and releasing music under other monikers too, as well as contributing to the Six Impala electronic music collective. So April's musical progression is one that has been moving for about a decade now, and it's really exciting to hear it culminating on this new Underscores album, which is one of the most fun and vibrant fusions of rock, pop, electronic music, and lo-fi that I've heard this year. Now, I will warn you out of the gate, I don't think the aesthetics of this record will be for everyone. They are very digital and very distorted with super saturated mixes too. Plus, April does touch her vocals up quite a bit to have that stacked up, tangy, almost post-human hyperpop flair. The sound of this record is bright, it is uncompromising, and I can't really imagine it working any other way. Not only because I think it gives April's songs quite a bit of punch, but she's also found a way to make these very in-your-face and hyper aesthetics work in more subtle and intimate contexts too, like with the song Duh, whose eerie meditations on illness build up into one of the most effective crescendos on the entire project. There's also horror movie soundtrack, which isn't my favorite track here, but it's still a pretty powerful combination of chilling balladry and eerie, dark ambience surrounding it that feels almost Trent Reznor-esque. Meanwhile, You Don't Even Know Who I Am creatively uses phone noises and glitchy background chatter pretty much as a rhythm section to kind of fill up space behind the confessional and pained ballad above it, and oddly it works, though admittedly I was a little uneasy about it when I first heard the track, but I'm now realizing in the midst of this review the books have done similar experiments that actually worked out too. Then there's the closer, Good Luck Final Girl, a very folksy tune which is not only one of the most beautiful songs I've heard this year, but the track also executes one of the coolest rug pulls I've heard in any song ever, where these elegant and shimmering strings quickly melt away for this very bare, naked, stark outro, where the vocals deliver some pretty powerful and sometimes devastating lyrics. If you don't get at least a little sniffle going at this point on the song, I don't know what to tell you. You need to pray. Oh, geez it! Oh, geez it! Oh, geez it! So yeah, we do get some pretty cutting emotional moments on this record for sure, but I think the success of this record is ultimately going to hang on its witty and versatile bangers, which there are quite a few. There's Cops and Robbers, which is a stellar opener. It is a buzzing and glitchy piece of pop punk with a story attached to it, a pretty criminal story that had me on the edge of my seat from the start to the end of the song, plus the solo bridge on this track, like some real Jack White level shit. There's also Locals, Girls Like Us, which is what you would get if you could take a rave cut, make it rock, and then make it serve. Pretty much every type of fun, zany camp is coursing through the veins of this song, be it Andrew WK, Lady Gaga, B-52s, LMFAO, Sleigh Bells, I could go on. It's just so much coming together all at once, it's incredible. I also want to mention Johnny Johnny Johnny, which has the privilege of being one of the sweetest and most catchy songs on the record, but it's also one of the darkest tracks on the project topically. It's about being taken advantage of over the internet at a very young age, and eventually coming to realize the grave mistake you've made. But it's clearly a warning, a cautionary tale with no gray area, and April goes as far as to sort of illustrate the place of insecurity and loneliness that this whole debacle came from. And speaking of unlikely song topics, there is also Old Money Bitch, which is all about someone or various individuals with rich parents, a lot of privilege, them using that to their advantage when it comes to success in life. It's some satire, it's funny, it's a tease, it's some light, irreverent mockery that is very well deserving, and I love how underneath all of the very crazy, fried internet aesthetics, a lot of what's happening here kind of runs like a 2000s era pop song, right down to the la 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 background vocals. I of course also want to shout out the track Geez Louise featuring Henhouse, which is quite a ride at 7 minutes and change, and starts off as this really fierce pumping piece of electropunk that sort of reminds me of the Japanese band Polysix. And this eventually progresses miraculously into a country breakdown that is somehow even more impressive. And then toward the finish, there's the atmospheric ambient pop outro that's also gorgeous and captivating. Now, I will say, as far as complaints go for this record with me, there are some tracks that are so distorted and so saturated and so bogged down and sopping with volume and color that they become just a little too much or difficult to make heads or tails of, whether that be in the second half of Shoot to Kill, Kill Your Darlings, or some passages of Uncanny Long Arms. As much as I do think the ambient bits of that song are beautiful, and I like Jane Remover's vocal contributions quite a bit too. And then there's also the drums and final crescendo on 77 Dog Years. As much as I do like the way April was able to take these angular, smooth, Midwestern emo guitar licks and kind of incorporate them successfully in a poppier context. Overall, I'll say this is one of the most daring and varied and catchy records I've heard in 2023. I have heard the hype. I believe the hype. The underscores hype is real. I'm feeling a decent to strong 8 on this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, underscores, forever.